And good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Allen. Thank you so much for being with us on this Sunday night. Up first this evening, managing growth in the city of Harrisburg. The Sioux Falls suburb has seen its population increase nearly sevenfold in just the last 17 years. Tonight, a conversation with Harrisburg Mayor Julie Burke Van Leuveney about how they are dealing with their growing population right now and what they have in mind for the future.
So I knew we were going to be growing, and so I knew that there were going to be good and bad challenges.
Julie Burke Van Leuveney has been the mayor of Harrisburg for nearly 7 years, which means she has had the city's top job at a time when hundreds of new residents have been moving to town and calling Harrisburg home. And when it comes to the issue of growth and how residents feel about it, the mayor says that depends on your age and how long you've lived in the city.
I think when people move here, they understand that we're growing and that they understand that the cornfield behind them won't be a cornfield forever.
To understand the growth in Harrisburg means looking at some numbers for context. The mayor says in 2000, Harrisburg's population was right around 900. Right now, in 2019, she says the population is right around 6,000. That quick of a population shift means decisions on the city level have to come quickly as well. And most of the time, those decisions come with a price tag.
We have decided to take care of our own sewer treatment plant, which again is going to cause rates to go higher.
In 2000, Harrisburg built a lagoon-based sewer system, which was fine when the population was barely 1,000 people. But now that it's 6 times that and increasing, Mayor Burke Van Leuveney says the city is preparing to make a $27 million investment in a full-scale sewer treatment plant. It was one of 2 ideas that the city considered.
We decided to, instead of hook up to Sioux Falls, to build our own wastewater treatment plant.
Harrisburg could have made a decision to hook into Sioux Falls' existing water treatment system, and it might have been cheaper. So why go the independent route? Well, that word, independent. By doing it on their own and installing a system that not only handles current needs but future ones as well, Harrisburg puts itself in a position to better manage and welcome new growth.
Now that we have our own wastewater treatment plant, what that does is allows us to kind of help that area develop.
In a perfect world, that new sewer treatment system will be up and running in just under 4 years' time. And once it's complete, it will provide a critical component to a big plan that will allow Harrisburg to dramatically increase its size and meet the needs of future residents who will come here, while making sure that Harrisburg isn't encroached on too much by its big neighbor to the north.
They're going to touch, and by us being proactive now, we're going to be able to identify where Sioux Falls ends and Harrisburg begins.
Already there are neighborhoods on the south side of Sioux Falls where kids attend school in the Harrisburg district. Mayor Burke Van Leuveney says she has worked in recent years to build strong relationships with Sioux Falls leaders, including Mayor Paul Tenhaken, whom Burke Van Leuveney says she is inspired by. But the good relationships aren't just the result of being neighborly. Burke Van Leuveney says it will be easier for her, as Harrisburg's mayor, to manage her city's growth and keep an eye on Sioux Falls' southward sprawl if she is on good terms with all the players involved. Her goal is to keep Harrisburg as independent a place as possible and not just be thought of as a Sioux Falls appendage.
My attitude is, why don't we work together instead of having it happen to us, right? Because that's what's going to happen. I mean, you can't deny the inevitable.
Burke Van Leuveney says Harrisburg's future depends on meeting not only residential needs, but commercial ones as well. A year and a half ago, the city welcomed its own grocery store, a Fairway, and the city is pretty proud of that. But while that is a victory, there is another project that the city learned a lesson from.
They got through planning and zoning and all kinds of studies in about 6 months, which was pretty wild, right?
The 85th and Minnesota Walmart, which is basically knocking on Harrisburg's door. The city of Sioux Falls was able to annex this land that the Walmart is built on, meaning property taxes and sales taxes go into Sioux Falls coffers. And Burke Van Leuveney says Harrisburg must be as aggressive in building its community and its tax base.
There are so many cities and so many municipalities that don't have the open space and don't have the ability to take the opportunity to plan this now. So we are very fortunate. We have the opportunity to change the face of this.
And changing the face of Harrisburg has led to the development of an aggressive plan, one that means to shape the city potentially for the next 75 years.
But we say from interstate to Iowa, here's what we would like in the next 50, 75 years.
And interstate to Iowa is exactly what this plan draws out, managing and preparing for the city of Harrisburg to grow to an area from essentially the Harrisburg exits on Interstate 29 all the way east to the Iowa state line. But that's going to take some time.
A lot of this land is privately owned right now.
Right.
So could we go out and buy Sure, we could.
But that wouldn't be financially practical. The mayor says the way it will likely happen is developers will buy the land and then work with the city to develop projects for that land, whether it be homes, apartments, or businesses. Part of the process of developing land on South Louise Avenue, south of the roundabout, is about to take a big step forward. The Harrisburg School District is going to be building a new elementary school near the Baker Crossing Golf Course, which means the city of Harrisburg is going to have to run a new water and sewer line into that area. And that will end up benefiting more than the school.
We're going to be using trunk line sewer for that, which opens up 600 to 800 acres, according to Bender Commercial, that's going to be available for development.
And having that nearly 800 acres of land open up for potential development keeps Harrisburg competitive and available for those who want to invest in the area.
You never want to say no. You never want to say we're closed, because the minute you say you're closed, developers will go somewhere else.
But there is evidence that developers are finding a good environment in Harrisburg, a slew of new homes and others that are under construction. But this new growth isn't taken for granted by anyone in Harrisburg, and again, it comes back to being so close to Sioux Falls. Burke Van Leuveney says 95% of Harrisburg residents work in Sioux Falls.
How do we keep our residents that we're losing during the day, how do we keep them interested, shopping local, thinking local, participating in our boards and government and committees?
Part of the difference, the mayor believes, can be in the service Harrisburg businesses provide and how they provide it. For example, she told me she is hoping that Harrisburg residents don't buy all their groceries in Sioux Falls,
and instead go the extra quarter mile and go to Fairway. It's the meat guy, Mike, who's going to say to you, Brian, was Ben feeling not so good the other day? I saw Ann and she said, that's what you get.
I asked the mayor about housing demand and housing supply, two crucial factors in determining if an area's growth is real and sustainable or not. On housing demand, she told me this.
Some of these houses really are selling in 8 hours. And I know that's happening in Sioux Falls too. But I have had residents who literally have said, I put it on the market one day and it's sold the next.
And when it comes to housing supply, the mayor told me right now there are plans in the pipeline for nearly 2,400 dwelling units in Harrisburg. Projects that are either underway or will be soon. And for those keeping watch over it, it means a lot of work.
It's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of planning, it's a lot of headaches, it's a lot of sleepless nights for a lot of people.
And we thank Harrisburg Mayor Julie Burke Van Leuveney for spending some time with us tonight.